106.7 KCAL rocks. Look at us here on your Thursday. We're about to have our kegger tomorrow, and it's time to talk some sports with our guy, Pep. Pep, what's up, my brother?
Hey, what is cracking? Patrick, listen, man, I know you are feeling really good. It's a very exciting week around KCAL, Big Friday, and also, dude, that Monday Night Football game. I hate to look in the rearview mirror too much, but, man, when Russell Wilson goes back to Seattle and loses in front of a national audience, that's a big deal. I know you're a big Seahawks guy, so that feels pretty good.
It was a big deal. It is really the only game we kind of care about because, I don't want to say we're tanking, and the team did play tough and all that stuff. 2 goal line stands, all that stuff. Trying to kick a 65-yard field goal in the Seattle air, that was very confusing to me. We know Russell could have easily gotten that 4th and 5. That's me. Yeah. However, I'm kind of glad that he won. I don't know about all the booing before the game, to tell you the truth, but I've just heard there's going to be a lot of stories about Russell Wilson coming out. Nevertheless, I'm happy.
Hey, a win is a win is a win, right? It doesn't matter if it's ugly, if it's by 1 point, if it's because the other team made a bonehead move. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, a win is a win is a win. So take it and enjoy it. That's all I can say.
All right. Will.
Hey, Patrick, speaking of national audience, man, Thursday night foosball tonight, and it is another big one, dude. Chargers going on the road to Kansas City. Now, listen, I know there's a lot of people excited about the Chargers this season. Some people are picking them to win the Super Bowl or at least get to the Super Bowl. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's going to be the Chiefs and or the Bills representing the AFC. Now, I hope the Chargers prove me wrong, but tonight in front of a national audience on Thursday night foosball, this is their chance, man. This would be a signature win going on the road against the basically – the team to beat in the AFC. I feel like it's going to be Kansas City or Buffalo. Do you kind of feel the same way?
I do, too. Those are the 2 best teams in the AFC, I feel, and definitely the most dangerous and the most solid. But I do have to admit, the Chargers do seem somewhat solid to me as well. I think week 1 doesn't tell us all the full story, including my Seahawks. I'm being non-biased here. I think I am a believer in Herbert, I think, is my problem. I think Air Bear can do it. But I do believe you're probably right. Those teams are just a little bit better. But, man, the Chargers are that scary team. It's the one you don't want to play.
You know what? There's a famous saying going on social media right now. You know the saying where, prove them wrong, right? Prove your doubters wrong. Well, right now, a lot of people are using the prove me right. And there's a lot of people who like the Chargers a lot. They like the Chargers to get to the Super Bowl. So I feel like they need to prove these people right. If you're going to do that, that means going to Arrowhead, or whatever they call it now, go to Kansas City and win on national television against probably the best quarterback in the league, at least one of the top 2 or 3, against a team that has made it and won a Super Bowl in the last couple of years. This is a signature moment. This could be a statement win if the Chargers can do it. So prove me right.
Now, I think you're on the right track here. But one other thing I wanted to bring up is this, I believe, is the first time Amazon is providing Thursday night football. Did you hear about this? Is there any conflict? How do we watch this game? There's a little air of am I going to be able to see this thing?
Yeah, it's basically another streaming service, right? It's do you have Netflix? Do you have Hulu? Do you have Amazon? Yeah. I have Amazon because, Patrick, I'm a big nerd, man. I'm watching the Lord of the Rings series. So I got Amazon. I'm watching the Lord of the Rings. So I think I'm good. I think I can watch the game tonight.
But to that point, if you don't have it, you don't get to watch the game.
Yeah, that's talk to a family member, man. Get their login information.
I don't like it. Right? I want to see as much football as possible. Nevertheless, I got the package and all that stuff. I get every game. What I'm talking about for the average person, I'm thinking about those fans, who don't have that service. They don't get to watch the game.
Yeah, man, it's a lot easier. We can say when it's easy to point to, right? It's on ESPN or it's on NBC tonight. It's easy to point to. It's easy to find. Most people don't have to have a special service to find this game. But it is on Amazon tonight. And if you don't have that streaming service, you're not going to see that game.
Okay, that's just what I want you guys out there to know. Just know if you don't have the Amazon, you can't see Thursday night football. Huge bummer.
Yeah, it is, and it's such a great game too, right? Such a
Yeah.
great game with Chargers
Yes.
and the Chiefs tonight. Patrick, your Seahawks, if I can just go back real quick, playing the 49ers, and the 49ers, laying a big egg on the road at Chicago this past weekend, and already people are saying, all right, Trey Lance's days are already numbered. Not if, but when they're going to make the move back to Jimmy G. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but that's what a lot of these, quote unquote experts are saying. Maybe it's 3 weeks, maybe it's 5 weeks, but Jimmy G will be the starter again. Trey Lance needs to come out and beat a team that probably, at least on paper, the 49ers should beat the Seahawks, no offense. But but he needs to get some wins.
And I mean, is this not what we talked about that we were afraid of? The one thing about keeping Jimmy G is that if the kid missteps at all, the roar is going to get loud. And look at us, we're week 1. The kid's playing in a monsoon. It doesn't work out, right? Justin Fields ends up outplaying him. It makes him look bad. I feel, don't be a prisoner of the moment yet, man. It's week 1. Give this kid a chance. However, Jimmy G's just waiting in the wings. And I have a feeling, we're already starting a rumble. This could turn into a roar. I feel like it's going to turn into a roar.
Yeah.
Week 6, Jimmy G's in, I feel.
The only way the Dallas Cowboys could save Trey Lance, if the Dallas Cowboys swoop in and try to get Jimmy G in a trade for Dak Prescott, maybe that would have, free Trey Lance up. But the problem there is, Patrick, is it looks like Dak Prescott might not be out that long, so they might not need Jimmy G.
Here's the huge problem, though, is I don't know if they really thought this out. First of all, 2 quarterbacks never works. Their own organization went through the biggest example of it ever with Steve Young and Joe Montana. But, I think they have to realize this could cause huge problems. My goodness, they didn't think that this is going to happen. They thought this was all going to work out. Ugh.
Yeah, I didn't like it from the start. And, going back to the Chicago game, it was a monsoon, man. I don't know if anyone, watched the game or saw the highlights, but it was a mess. It was raining so hard. There were puddles of water all over the field. And, some people were like, well, it was awful conditions. Give him another chance. Like, it wasn't a normal football game.
Right.
And other people were like, well, yeah, but Justin Fields had the same conditions. And he still made plays. He made plays, but Trey Lance didn't. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out. All I know is people are already saying that Jimmy G is going to step in. Not if he will, but when he will. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it might be.
Here's the real problem. If there is a bunch of support in that locker room for Jimmy G, if the roar starts getting loud for Jimmy G, Shanahan's going to have to go to Jimmy G or he risks losing the locker room. And trust me, being a Seattle fan, you lose the locker room, it's over, man. They're saying ever since the interception that Russell Wilson threw, from that point on, Pete lost the locker room. Nobody trusted each other anymore. And look, the team fell apart.
Yeah. Lose the locker room or have a divided locker room, right? Like, hey, man, we stink right now. We could put Jimmy G back in there and try to save our season. The next couple weeks are very telling. And listen, maybe Seattle's better than we thought, beating Denver on Monday Night Football. So that might not be an easy game. The 49ers might be 0-2 to start the season. Again, if they lose to Seattle this weekend. So we'll have to see. But that's some drama building right now in San Francisco if this does not work out.
Definitely.
All right, Patrick, let's talk a little Major League Baseball real quick before we get out of here. Congratulations for the Dodgers. The playoff spot, another National League West championship. My only concern, and I'm not going to dwell on this, my only concern is they are so far out in front of everybody else. They already have the division title. Could they be complacent in the last couple of weeks of the season? Just put it into cruise control because I know, sometimes the hottest team in baseball, the team that's playing the best baseball going into the playoffs, is the team that makes the run. Not the team with the best record, but the team that's playing the best in September.
It's definitely true. It would be a poor time for a huge letdown. You're right. And they've been playing that well all year. So that thing is normally in a baseball season, there is a lull. Yeah. And there hasn't been a lull this year. So there is a slight fear. Is that lull waiting for them at the end of the season?
As long as the lull is not in the month of October or September spilling into October, then the Dodgers will be fine. I just don't want them to put it in cruise control and lose interest and just kind of, fall into the playoffs and not really make a case that they are the best team in baseball because they do have the best record and they should be the favorite and all that.
Yes,
so
they should.
We'll see. And last thing on baseball here, the American League MVP race is really, really juicy this year. If you're not following Aaron Judge of the Yankees, he's on pace to surpass 60 home runs on the season. He would, in any other year, he'd be the clear MVP, no doubt. But then you got the Angel Shohei Ohtani, a great player on a bad team, getting it done on the mound, getting it done at the plate. I mean, I think Shohei's got like 35 home runs, I want to say, 36, somewhere in that department. 10 wins on the bump. Like, he's having a great year. But Aaron Judge, man, that's the MVP race. Shohei Ohtani versus Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge is first in every single category. It is the weirdest thing when they lined it up next to him at the plate and they showed all the categories he's leading in. I mean, Shohei Ohtani is the quarterback of Major League Baseball. This reminds me of the MVP argument. It's like, oh man, this player, Tyreek Hill, or whoever, a defensive player, they should be MVP. But then it's hard to beat a quarterback just because by position, they do so much more. Shohei's the same way. He just does so much more. He's a great pitcher and a great hitter at the same time. It's like they need another award. The NFL needs another award just for quarterbacks, and they need another award for some kind of special Babe Ruth-like character.
Yeah.
Shohei.
No, Patrick, you make a great point. I didn't think about that. Like, maybe because the quarterbacks, when you think of MVP, it seems like it always goes to a quarterback. And in Shohei Ohtani's case, he's out there almost like, he's involved in every single game when he pitches, every single pitch. Like, but yeah, that's kind of an interesting take there, that maybe you have like an MVP and maybe a most, outstanding player, or give it a different title or something like that.
I mean, essentially, it sounds like whiny crybaby stuff, but it's unfair to the other players. It's the same thing in the NFL. To win the MVP and be a non-quarterback is amazing.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And Shohei's doing it to baseball now. It's weird.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're exactly right, because a quarterback is going to win the MVP every year, and Shohei Ohtani, if he keeps putting up numbers like this, he could have like 10 straight MVPs, right? Like, who else is going to be in the conversation unless you have this crazy off the charts year like Aaron Judge is having? Then you have to make a decision.
He really is a most valuable player. He's like, you're our MVP. Make sure you tell him about your stuff.
Patrick in the morning. Hey, you get Inland Sports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We got the Inland Sports YouTube channel. We're talking local MVPs if you like high school football right now on Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.